Welcome to the Latin Wealth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educating the Latino community about entrepreneurship, investing, and business.
Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to Wealth Wednesday. Super excited about today's episode because we're back in the studio. We got my guy Jeremiah here, and we're going to be going over some pretty dope topics today as we'll be diving into Apple and their latest news, how they just introduced AI products at WWDC. We've been talking about this for a while. We're going to dive into that. And we're also going to be diving into Puerto Rico's power grid, who's behind it, and how to ultimately improve this situation. Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Jeremiah, how you feeling today, bro?
Back live, back in the studio. Yeah, I'm excited, man. We always get to, I feel like, when we like on Zoom, you kind of like, we try to get the vibe, like, but it's always natural. As soon as we walk in, it's like, bro, it's good.
Let's get it. Yeah, that's what's up. I love it. So let's jump into it. So Apple's new. Apple currently has rose to an all-time high. I think it's covering around $207 a share. Yep. And we've been talking about this for a while now. We've been talking about like, hey, they're going to introduce something related to AI at WWDC. The stock is probably going to go up around this time. There's going to be hype. There's going to be momentum for them. So we just want to kind of briefly break down what was introduced and then ultimately talk about their new AI tools that they're going to be integrating into the phones and how that can potentially affect the future. So just a couple quick updates. Siri gets smarter. AI generated emojis. OpenAI Partnership. That's pretty big. There's a new feature where you can hide apps. Basically, it's for privacy. You can lock certain apps. If you want to hide Tinder from I
was gonna say you want to hide Instagram from your girl.
If you be wilding out like that, you can potentially do that.
Yeah.
Real time call transcripts. So iPhone users will now be able to record and create transcripts of calls right from their phone app. All parties to the calls will be notified when it's being recorded. So that's dope. So if you're on a business call or something like that and you need a note taker, instead of hiring somebody, it's just going to transcribe everything from the call. Gesture controls for AirPods. So now you could essentially nod your head and the AirPods will answer phone calls if you got stuff in your hand, stuff like that. Apple Watch health monitoring. New vital sign tracking on Apple Watch can notify users when they may be getting sick based on signals like body temperature and heart rate, stuff like that. And then my favorite update is the scheduling of the text messages. I was talking to my wife for a minute, bro. Like, this is my favorite thing now because I be having random thoughts like at 3 a.m. Let me just schedule this out to Jeremiah instead of waking him up.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
2 hours behind.
The biggest thing, we'll jump into it, is Apple introduces Apple Intelligence, which is a suite of artificial intelligent tools. It's not an app. It's pretty much a bunch of features sprinkled throughout your phone. With all that being said, what are your thoughts, man? How are you feeling about these announcements?
Seems like they were listening to us when we had our last podcast. I know that they don't, but it seems like we were on point.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything that we listed, kind of they did. I was hoping that they went a little bit deeper, and maybe they will on like the biomed side with telling you when you're sick and stuff like that. I think that that's going to be something to get deeper into. I feel like all of these were great updates. The scheduling of the text messages, all the different integrations of the ChatGPT into the iOS. I'm feeling like Siri they needed an upgrade, so that was good. Seems like an overall good thing. I just don't know if it's going to be like the thing. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Because you and me were talking last time, and we were like, hey, is this thing, they got to have something, right, at WWDC that's actually going to make them be like, Apple's back, right? And I text you, and I was like, hey, Chris, do you feel it? He's like, no, you were like, no, I'm excited, but I don't think this is the thing.
It's sustainable.
and we talked about the integration and the adaptability, right? All of these things are great, and they're going to work their way into the market. But think about how long it takes people to integrate a new calendar into their, right? Someone got Calendly versus using it on their phone. It's hard for them to integrate new things into their habits. So how long or are these things going to be utilized by a massive amount of people?
The gestures, just the features. I'm just imagining the average iPhone user, like I mentioned to you, I don't use Siri at all. Only thing I use Siri for is to like, wake me up in 10 minutes, or like wake me up at 4:30. That's it. So it is going to be interesting to see how people are going to use, and they name it Apple Intelligence. It's their play off of AI. They don't, it's just, branding type of thing. So yeah, it is going to be very interesting. So with the ChatGPT partnership, I don't know if you've seen this, but essentially when Apple Intelligence can't answer a question, or they don't know where to get the information from,
you can refer.
It will refer to ChatGPT, and it'll let you know, like, hey, we're about to refer to ChatGPT. Do you want us to use it? Yes or no? And boom, it'll give you the information. I do think it's cool that they're using ChatGPT 4.0.
I do.
Which is cool because now you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, on the back end of it, right? But I mean, think about it. You kind of pay for it with Apple, with
the pricing.
There's other stuff, that you got to pay for, right? And you pay for the phone itself. I did see though, on the back side of that you saw what Elon said, right?
What he say?
So he's like, if Apple goes all the way with this integration, we're going to end our contract with Apple in all of my companies. Yeah. So I'm like, ooh, is that worth it? I mean, obviously it is. Whatever, you got to go to consumer, right, to market. But I just noticed that, and I'm just seeing different pieces. So yet again, Apple comes out with this, and it's like revolutionary for the consumer, but then they're not playing nice in the sandbox,
right?
Which always comes back to kind of bite them. So, but I mean, no, I think overall these are great. These are great, and these are actually great announcements. Yeah, I don't think that I don't know if it's that thing to get them back.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting because it's always interesting watching people's reaction to like, oh, we can change the color of our apps now.
Okay, cool. That's what's most important out of this whole entire thing. Right. Not that you can come up with coding, not that you can, do all these new things for your text messages, which is crazy because, like you and myself, you could be 1 in the morning, and something comes to your brain, and you won't remember it if you go to sleep and then wake up. So
I have to
stuff
write
like
it in my notes, like text so and so about this.
Then you got to remember to look at the notes.
I was telling my wife, I'm about to just schedule everybody's birthday today.
That's
for
smart.
The whole year.
That's smart. That's smart. So that way you never forget.
Never forget. Yeah. So those are some of the announcement with Apple. We're going to keep you guys informed and up to date as always. Pretty dope announcements. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how people integrate, Apple Intelligence. I'm curious to know how many people actually use it.
That's going to be the biggest part to the success of this, right? Is how quickly can it be integrated into people's normal everyday use? Because if it's not massively adopted or like used on a basis, then it basically wouldn't matter, right?
For sure. For sure. 100%. Moving along to another huge topic, and we're going to be diving into Puerto Rico's power grid, who's behind it, and really how to improve it. And what kind of inspired us to talk about this subject is heat waves are hitting Puerto Rico right now. The power grid's going off, people losing power. It's like it happens when it rains, when the wind blows. When the wind blows, when it's hot, it's like, dang, the power is always going out. And I think us mainlanders, we take it for granted. Like, power goes out here in Texas from time to time, but it ain't nothing like Puerto Rico.
Like that, though.
So, the system has been flawed. It has numerous challenges, especially since, natural disasters like Hurricane Maria in 2017. We see power outages often out there. Like it's almost a normal thing that it's people are not getting used to, and you can't get used to it. You know what I'm saying? Business owners, bodega, bakery, and whatnot, power goes out, they're losing money.
Yeah, because you can't process payment.
For sure.
Right? A lot of people say, oh, well, get get square or get things where you can process on a basis when the power's down, but everything that you're connected to in your business goes down. So it's it's not functional, and you can't actually service a growing community that way.
For sure.
Progressive community.
For sure. So a little back information, if you guys don't know, Luma Energy is the company responsible for currently Puerto Rico's power grid, including its maintenance, modernization, distribution, and transmission. Luma basically became responsible for the grid in 2021 after the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority went bankrupt following several hurricanes that damaged the island's grid. During that time, it took about 11 months to over a year to get power fully back on the island. What else? There's a initiative that's being started called PR 100, which Puerto Rico's goal to be 100% renewable energy by 2050. This is going to take some significant upgrades, investment, and community participation. But I was like, 2050, man, we need this thing by 2025. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I don't know what the thought process is behind that, because I took some notes and stuff.
Yeah,
but
talk about it.
It could be done quicker. Obviously, Puerto Rico Power Authority went broke. They were scamming anyway. It was a whole bunch of craziness that goes on. But I was reading and I was looking at here's the breakdown of how power is on the plant. Okay. So petroleum fired power plants basically in Puerto Rico, they took up about 63% of Puerto Rico's power creation, right? Generation. Natural gas is like 23%, and then coal is another 8%. They have hydroelectric energy that can be created from reservoirs that they have there, right? The problem is they're not adequately using the reservoirs. So I was remember right after Maria, and you had Elon came in and he had all of the batteries and things that could be used, and he gave some batteries. And so the thought process is, and shouts out to my man Dean, because he's constantly talking about this, but the thought process is if you can actively get, number one, it's always sunny in Puerto Rico for the most part. It's raining, but then you're always going to get massive amounts of sun. Why are we not utilizing solar power and creating a grid that's, sustainability wise can be used off of those solar panels or hydroelectric activity? Also wind. Yeah. Right. Put offshore, or even, because if you don't want to put it on land or whatever, but you could put the windmills on land as well. These are just things that we could actively use, conditions that are always present in Puerto Rico to have it happen. And I gave the stats of all of the different type of power plants, because all of those seemingly could be used and converted into energy, or to more places of what I mean. So if you have a power plant that's utilizing petroleum, right, like fossil fuel, to run it, why would you not maybe slowly, gradually convert that into a space where you could just put up massive amounts of solar panels?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I will say what's currently being done, Puerto Rico has increased its renewable energy generation to 12%, from 4% within the last 3 years, which is,
that's massive.
That's really big. Yeah. So I mentioned PR 100. They basically have 3 different scenarios. I'm not sure why they have 3. It should just be 1. But their scenario is giving rooftop solar energy to building owners. Scenario 1. Scenario 2, building owners and residential owners. Scenario 3, solar panels to all buildings.
I think that the 3 biggest reasons they have those 3 different scenarios is based upon funding, and it's based upon the governmental interaction and where the money goes. We saw with the Puerto Rico Power Authority that money came to the island and was never properly distributed, right? A lot of people didn't have lights. It was 2 years in, a year and a half, 2 years in, they still didn't have lights.
For sure.
So I think that the way that's Puerto Rico 100, I think the way that they're structuring that is based upon how realistic is it that we're going to get this money and it's going to be adequately put into our program, versus money coming in and it goes somewhere else, which just happens all the time in Puerto Rico.
They talking about FEMA and
crazy.
I'm like, man, they talking about billions of dollars here, 10 billion here, 60 billion here, and it's like,
bro, it was like $80 billion.
Yeah, what's going on?
Because you don't see. I mean, I think it was like 62% of the schools, the unis, we call them in Puerto Rico, right? 62% of the schools were shut down. Like they're abandoned right now. So all those abandoned buildings, why don't we have an initiative to use those abandoned buildings as places for solar panels as a grid? Because they're in different communities. So you would go to that school that's in the middle of a community, right? And then you could help to power the community based off that school because you're not using it anymore.
For sure, 100%.
Just ideas and stuff and I know that people like I said, I see Dean all the time. He's constantly keeping this in front of people. But it's got to matter to more than just...
Bro, let me tell you.
The diaspora. If you're Puerto Rican and you live in mainland America, you should give a crap about it, right? Because it's your motherland. You should care about Puerto Rico just like the people that live on the island, because you probably have family that's there, or grandmas or cousins or whatever, right? So you want to make sure that they're living like you're living.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. And I love what Dean said, and his we always give a shout out to Dean. That's our brother. He basically said, like, why not we take the same energy from the Puerto Rican Day Parade where we go crazy, we show up.
I saw that. I was like, dang, we're so strong on culture, but we don't give a crap about resolution.
Come on now.
That's, we got the flags. We'll be the proudest people. We gonna dance. Okay, use all that energy that you're doing, dancing, and put that into some resolutions for the island. Get into understanding the politics that's on the island. You can't keep electing horrible people, right? So it's not just up to the singers. It's,
that's a fact.
That's what I noticed. People will be like, all right, Calle 13.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, why don't you? And it's like, no, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's up to us as well.
It's up to us.
Yeah.
Mainly us.
Exactly.
It's damn near like if we go, they go too.
That's or they don't have to go at all because they're rich and we're not.
Yeah.
So it's like they got, Bad Bunny freaking dang near $1 billion. Thankfully he actually gives a crap.
Yeah,
but
he does.
a lot of times people get that money and they could go somewhere else. But you and your family are still stuck in the situation. So we have to start being more solution based,
more mindful.
For sure.
What else, man? Anything else about these topics that you want to hit on? Did you have?
Yeah, I would think so. Opportunity wise, and this, I'm just throw this out there because we've been pretty good. Business wise, right now the sustainability, so ESG related. I'm gonna link things.
Yep.
ESG related stocks and stuff are kind of they're kind of plateauing. They go up and down or however, whatever. If you created an initiative though, right, in a place like Puerto Rico where you have tax subsidies, and you create that business on the background of creating sustainability, the government's going to give you subsidies, and also you get tax-free money. What does that mean? That means more money in your pocket. Everything is completely profit, probably after like year 1 or 2. So I start to look to see more energy and sustainability-based businesses start to invest more in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Probably pretty soon.
For sure. 100%. Love that. Look, hopefully you guys took away something from this episode. A lot of, especially the information about Puerto Rico, very impactful stuff. We'll keep a close eye on this type of information. And if you guys learned anything from this episode, or if you feel like somebody in your circle needs to hear this information, please share it with one other person. As always, it's the Latin Wealth family. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace, guys.